It is a heavy realization when you finally see that the people you thought were just casually observing your life are actually paying a specific kind of attention to the way you handle the small stuff. For a long time, you probably assumed that your quiet discipline and your habit of staying focused in the middle of a storm were just personal traits that nobody really noticed or cared about. But the reality of human behavior is that people who have actual influence are always scanning for the things that can't be faked, and they've picked up on a couple of specific habits that set you apart from the rest of the group. They saw how you managed a difficult situation without needing to be the loudest person in the room, and they noticed how you stayed grounded when everyone else was letting their emotions run the show. This isn't about some secret mission or a grand conspiracy. It is just the way the world works when you finally start operating at a higher level of self-mastery. They can't ignore you anymore because your consistency has become a language of its own, one that tells them you are a person of real substance who actually knows how to stay in control of their own narrative. The dark psychology of being noticed like this is that it immediately changes the way you have to move through your environment, because you are no longer just a face in the crowd. Once those details about your character are out in the open, the people who actually run things start looking at you as a variable that they need to understand. They aren't looking for a reason to take you down. They are looking to see if you are someone they can actually work with, or if you're someone who is going to end up disrupting their comfortable way of doing things. You've stayed classy by not trying to show off, which ironically is exactly what made you stand out in the first place. In a world where everyone is desperately trying to get attention, the person who stays calm and does the work with a gangster level of stillness is the one who actually gets remembered. You didn't have to announce your arrival. Your actions did that for you. And now you have to deal with the fact that you've become a point of interest for people who don't usually waste their time on anyone. There is a very relatable kind of pressure that comes with being seen for who you truly are, especially when you've spent so much time refining your character in the dark. You've worked on yourself improvement, not for the applause, but because you wanted to be a person you could actually respect. Now that a heavy hitter has noticed those two specific things about you, that internal standard is being tested by the outside world. They saw that you don't fold when things get uncomfortable, and that you have a way of seeing through the nonsense that everyone else buys into. This grounded awareness is your greatest asset, but it also means you can't go back to being average or blending in with the herd. You've elevated yourself to a position where your every move is being audited for its integrity. And while that might feel intense, it's exactly where you wanted to be. You are the strategist who stayed the course, and now you are reaping the rewards of being a person who is too real to be overlooked by the people who actually matter. The two specifics they noticed are likely tied to how you handle information and how you manage the people around you without being manipulative or loud. They saw that you have a way of staying detached enough to see the truth, but engaged enough to make the right move at the right time. This kind of dark competence is rare because most people are either too emotional to be effective or too cold to be trusted. You've found that middle ground where you can be both relatable and incredibly sharp, and that combination is what has made it impossible for them to look away. They see a person who has already done the heavy lifting of figuring out their own motivations, which makes you a lot more dangerous and a lot more valuable than someone who is still trying to find themselves. You didn't need to be a mastermind to get here. You just had to be the only person in the room who wasn't lying to themselves about why they were there. It hit the group hard when they noticed that the way this insider talks to you has changed from a casual nod to a focused, respectful dialogue. This shift in the hierarchy is making everyone else incredibly nervous because they can't figure out what you have that they don't. They are still looking for a trick or a shortcut, while you are just standing on the foundation of the work you've been doing for years. You stay classy by not acting like you're better than anyone else, but the results you're getting are doing all the talking for you. You are the same grounded person you were before the insider noticed you, but the weight of your presence has increased tenfold because you have the silent approval of someone who actually knows how to measure value. This elevation is permanent because it's based on who you are, not on what you have. And that is a level of security that nobody can take away from you through gossip or petty games. The realization that you are being scrutinized by someone of consequence has a way of making you realize just how far you've actually come. You didn't change your style to get their attention, but knowing that your authentic self was enough to get you noticed gives you a new sense of internal authority. You realize that your gangster habit of staying quiet and being effective is the right move, regardless of how much noise the people around you are making. This insider is looking at you as someone who can handle the heavy stuff because you've proven you don't crack when the details get complicated. They see the potential for you to move into a much larger role, and they are currently trying to figure out how to bring you into their orbit without it looking forced. This is a very grounded form of success that is built on the strength of your character and the consistency of your moves. You don't need to shout about your wins when the person who matters is already paying attention to your progress. What really has this individual intrigued is the way you didn't try to use those two moments to your advantage right away. Most people, if they realized they had been noticed by someone powerful, would immediately try to cash in that attention for a favor or some quick recognition. You, however, just treated it like any other day and moved on to the next task without seeking a pat on the back. This lack of ego is the second detail that really sealed the deal for them. It showed that you have a level of self-control that makes you immune to the usual traps of vanity and praise. They see a person who can't be bought with a few kind words. And that makes you the most trustworthy person in the room. They are clashing with their own previous assumptions about you, and that internal struggle is what has made them so fixated on what you're going to do next. You've earned a level of respect that is rooted in the fact that you aren't looking for it, which is the strongest psychological position you can ever be in. The community is starting to feel the shift in power, and they are desperately trying to figure out how to copy whatever it is you're doing. They see the insider paying attention to you, and they assume there must be some complex strategy you're using. They are looking for a shortcut, but you know that your secret is just the grounded discipline of paying attention and staying real. You've spent the time to build a character that doesn't crumble under pressure, and that is something they can't buy or fake in a weekend. The two details that got you noticed were just the tip of the iceberg. There is a whole world of self-improvement beneath the surface that they haven't even begun to see yet. You stay classy by being approachable, but you keep that gangster distance that lets them know you aren't part of their frantic search for approval. You are your own person, and the fact that an insider caught on to that is just the natural result of you being too consistent to be ignored. As this influential person continues to watch you, they are going to see more and more details that confirm their initial suspicion that you are a person of real weight who is just getting started. Every interaction you have from now on is going to be seen through the lens of those first 2 moments where you showed your true character, giving you a massive amount of leverage in any situation. You have effectively hacked their perception of you by being the most grounded and observant person in the room. And that is a victory that will pay off for a long time. You don't need to be loud to be heard, and you don't need to be aggressive to be powerful. You just need to be the person who notices the things that everyone else misses. This strategist mindset is what has elevated you, and it's what will keep you at the top as you move into the next phase of your journey. You are the one they can't ignore because your results are too real and your character is too solid to be dismissed as a fluke.